When I left the narcissist, I stepped into a new relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, I moved into that relationship just a couple of weeks after leaving the narcissist. And it didn't take me a while before I started to see the similar patterns I had already seen before in my previous relationship. That confirmed to me that actually I had met another narcissist. I stepped out of that relationship and I stepped back into another relationship. And a couple of months later, ladies and gentlemen, I saw the same patterns that I'd seen before. This made me draw back and step back and think again. And that is when I realized that actually it was time for me to heal. I realized that I was actually running away from the pain. So I realized that actually for me to be able to cover up the pain I was feeling in that time, because it was very intensive, ladies and gentlemen, I noticed I was running from partner to partner because I did not want to experience the pain of leaving the narcissistic relationship. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, most of the time I've talked about leaving the narcissist, but I've never really told you and explained how it really feels living a narcissist. How, on deep level, does it feel living the narcissist? So in this video, we are going to cover the exact feeling of living a narcissistic relationship. Let's do this. So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzomos, and I welcome you to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. So for the new ones who are just coming in and narcissism resonates with you, I invite you and I encourage you to like the page, share, and subscribe. For those who have always been with me, welcome back, and I thank you for your continued love and support. Now, people, for the ones who still want to talk about their story, for the ones who want to join the Empath Speak Out project, you can always send your story to my email, or if you want to send the story in audio format, send me an email first, then I'll get you my contact details of how you can forward me the audio version of the story. I'll publish the story on my page. For the ones who are on my page, you know about the Empath Speak Out project. So I give my platform to the people who want to speak out on narcissistic abuse, so that you can let your story get out there and do not sit. I've always encouraged people, don't sit on your story. So basically, people, there's something you need to understand. The reason why I'm making this video is to make you aware. As a coach who has also been in a narcissistic relationship, I know what the pain feels like. And for the most of my videos, I've always talked about leaving the narcissist. I've always talked about discard. I've always talked about hovers. I've always talked about this. But I've never really, and I think most of the coaches online, they are not really talking about this pain. Nobody is exactly explaining the depth and the pain. How deep is the pain of leaving the narcissist? Now, people, you need to understand something first of all. Where does this pain come from? The narcissist has spent years making you a codependent. So normally when you're with them, when you're involved with the narcissist, the first thing they do is to make you a codependent. So they make you completely dependent and reliant on them, so that even if you try to go out there, you cannot make it on your own. That is the reason why you see most of the individuals have gone out of narcissistic relationships. They have been discarded, or the narcissists have discarded them. And then most of the time, usually, the victims, they cannot handle being by themselves. They cannot handle staying on their own out of that relationship. So most of the time, they've seen them go out there, try to survive by themselves for a couple of 2, 3, 4 months. And at the end of the day, you've seen them slide back into those relationships because it is not possible for them to actually be able to stand on their own. That is because the very first thing the narcissist will do is to make you a codependent. So, on top of being a codependent, we can also talk about the trauma bond. Now, I'm trying to explain to you where the pain is coming from. Number one, you're a codependent. And there is something what they call the codependency syndrome. Number two is because of the trauma bond. The trauma bond is extremely, people, when I'm talking about the trauma bond, Some scientists have talked about the trauma bond. I prefer to call it a soul tie. Because number one, you can know that somebody has been toxic or somebody has been abusive to you. You have left them. But at the same time, it does not matter how far you stay away from them, you still want to come back to them. You want to come back to the same person who has hurt you in the first place, to be able to be the one to console you. The person who has hurt you, you guys have separated. But at the same time, after some time, you want to come back to the same individual who has hurt you in the first place. You want them to be the people to console you. So you've seen people going in and out in something what they call the Hoover. That is because, number one, they are codependents. And number two, they have been deeply trauma bonded. The science and psychology has called it the trauma bond. In my videos, I've always talked about the soul tie because I know very deeply this is a spiritual thing going on. Narcissist relationships is a spiritual connection, is a deeply toxic and spiritual connection. So I prefer to use the word the soul tie because there is nobody who can ever tie themselves to you in that manner, in the manner of abusing you. Then at the end of the day, you go out there and at the same time you're missing them at the same time. So it's like you're missing the abuse. You get addicted in a way that you're missing the abuse. You go out there, you want to heal, you want to work on yourself, but you can't. Now you start to miss the abuse. You want to come back and get abused more and then have enough and then run out again. So this is a cycle that never seems to end. The cycle can go on and on and on. The cycle never seems to stop. But people, I can guarantee you people, the pain of living with a narcissist is unbearable. Myself, when I was living with a narcissist, there's nothing I could do. I had to leave my work. I had to take long days off. I could not handle working. I could not handle eating. I could not handle feeding. My body started manifesting all sorts of problems. The body thrush, I would get I think it used to be like every 2 or 3 weeks, my body would patch up all over the body. I would get patches all over the body. My body started detoxing people because that is when I knew that I had been sitting in a very toxic relationship for so many years that even that I never really understood this. I was sitting in a deeply toxic relationship because I saw my body manifest after the relationship. My body would manifest all these patches all over the body. I would get the patches every like 2, 3, even sometimes 4 weeks. Every now and then, when I was detoxing, because the more I used to heal and work on myself, the more I used to detox as well. So this detoxing would even manifest on my body. So I would get all these patches along the body. So it was also very painful in that time. Everything is okay at the moment, so I'm all right. But all I'm trying to say is that for many people, different individuals or victims of narcissistic abuse, things may manifest differently. So things may manifest depending on which kind of individual and depending on who you have been with. But there is always scars, people. The narcissist can scar you for life. The narcissist is the only person in the universe that can forever scar somebody for life. For the ones who have left narcissistic relationships, most of the individuals, they have got permanent scars. They have got scars. This can be physical, maybe psychological, maybe mental. They have got to have a scar. The narcissist can scar somebody forever. And again, whether you have left them or not, it does not matter. But the narcissist is the only individual who is capable of putting a permanent scar on somebody, on their victims. So people, in this video, what I want to say is that the pain is real. The pain is unbearable. The pain is felt on deep and soul level. You can feel this pain from within. What helped me along my journey when I was going through this pain, the only thing that helped me, the very first thing that helped me was for me to understand that actually this was not a permanent situation. I knew that there was people who were before me in that partnership. So I knew, of course, definitely that at some point, that was the first thing that helped me. I knew that at some point, the pain is going to go. So I concentrated on working on myself. Of course, plus the no contact, because I had already blocked the narcissist and everything. So I stayed no contact and I kept on working on myself each and every single day. Number two, something that helped me, the second thing that helped me was understanding that it was very important for me to heal because I had left kids behind. I did not want to see a situation whereby I was still hurting, I was still in a very difficult situation and the kids would handle looking at their father in that kind of way. So I had to work on myself so that I would be able to present myself as a healthy father in front of my children. That was my second motivation of staying out. I knew that my partner, I knew that time that they were a narcissist. So it was important for me to come out, work on myself and heal, so that my children will be able to have and feel my energy. Because my energy, I was very much aware that my energy, my children were depending on my energy. So it was very important for me to heal so that I could recover and be able to stand and step up in front of my children as a healthy father. That was my second motivation. The third motivation was that the narcissist was, I knew this was a sickness. This was, my third motivation, what helped me to stay out, was that I knew no matter what I would do, no matter how hard I would try, no matter how far we would go, I would never be able to solve this situation, because I had already awakened and I had known on deep level that this was a spiritual thing going on. So I knew there was nothing I could do about this. There was nothing, I could not fix this. It was out of my power. It was out of my control. I could not fix it. I could not fix anybody, and I had to step out to fix myself. So I went out to start working on myself. People, there is something I want to tell you something. There is something that I want you to know. The secret to healing, I'll say this one more time. The secret to healing from narcissistic abuse is to dive into the middle on the heart of the pain. You have got to dive into the middle of the pain. If you don't accept yourself, people, to experience this pain, that pain will never leave your body. If you don't accept yourself to embrace this pain, because it is through that pain you are supposed to dive into the pain, the heart of the pain, for you to be able to come out on the other side as a healed individual. You cannot go any other way around it. There is no other way around it. You can go into rebounds, you can go into new relationships. Nothing will work out, people, if you have not dived into the heart of the pain and you've not experienced the pain. It is very important for you to understand that for you to be able to heal from a narcissistic relationship, you are supposed to allow yourself to go through this pain, because the pain is part of the healing process. The pain has got to go through your body so that you can come out to the other side as a healthy and healed individual. That is the secret how it works. So, for the ones who are living narcissists, and the ones who've left, and the ones who are on the way to leave, I just want to make you know in this video, we've been there. We know that pain, what it feels like, but I can guarantee you, and I will advise you, do not try to dodge, don't go at the other side, don't go around the pain. You can understand that you have got to go through this. You are supposed to allow yourself to mourn. This is the same loss you get when you're losing somebody, when you're losing a loved one, when somebody has passed on from your family. It is the same pain you feel when you're living the narcissist. So you should always allow yourself to go through this process. Allow your body and your soul to mourn this. You're losing somebody, so you have got to mourn. After mourning, people, there are better days at the end of the day. You can always come out from the other side as a healed individual, and you can always come out with a smile on your face. Other than that, people, it's been a pleasure to have you guys on board. Much love and blessings. Let me know if I've not mentioned something in the comment section below, and also what you think about this. Other than that, people, I wish you well. Much love and blessings. And there's more signing out.